What if the biggest mystery about Keanu Reeves isn't how he became famous, but who he really is when the cameras stop rolling? In a world where celebrities compete for attention, Keanu has spent decades doing the exact opposite. He rarely chases headlines, avoids unnecessary drama, and somehow remains one of the most respected people in Hollywood. But is that quiet image the full story? Or is there something deeper behind the man millions admire? Keanu Reeves' journey didn't begin with red carpets or blockbuster success. His childhood was marked by instability. His father left when he was very young, and his family moved frequently. Growing up wasn't easy. He struggled with dyslexia, making school difficult, and often felt like he didn't quite fit in. While others might have seen obstacles, Keanu slowly developed something far more valuable, a quiet determination that would define his entire life. Long before audiences knew him as Neo or John Wick, he was simply a young actor trying to survive in an industry filled with rejection. Every audition carried uncertainty. Every opportunity had to be earned. There were no shortcuts, no overnight miracles. Yet even during those difficult years, people who worked with him often described the same qualities: respectful, humble, and incredibly hardworking. Then came the role that changed everything. Speed turned him into an international star almost overnight. Suddenly, Keanu Reeves was everywhere. Fame arrived with all its rewards, but also with enormous pressure. Hollywood often changes people. Success can inflate egos, create distance, and reshape personalities. Many wondered whether Keanu would follow that familiar path. He didn't. Instead of becoming louder, he became quieter. Instead of chasing luxury, he continued living surprisingly simply. Stories from co-workers and fans began appearing over the years. They spoke about his kindness on movie sets, his respect toward crew members, and the way he treated strangers with the same courtesy he offered fellow actors. None of these moments were carefully staged publicity campaigns. Most became known only because other people shared them later. But behind that calm public image was also a life touched by heartbreaking loss. Keanu experienced deeply personal tragedies that could have broken almost anyone. Rather than speaking endlessly about his pain, he carried it privately. Those experiences seemed to shape the compassion people noticed in him. He rarely presented himself as a victim. Instead, he continued working, continued creating, and continued showing up for others with remarkable grace. As the years passed, something unusual happened. Fans stopped admiring Keanu only because of his movies. They admired the person they believed he was becoming. In an entertainment industry often driven by image, authenticity became his greatest reputation. But here's the question that keeps following him everywhere. Is Keanu Reeves truly the humble hero people celebrate across the internet? Or has the world created an idealized version of him that no real human could possibly live up to? Because the closer you look at his life, the more complicated, and even more fascinating, the answer becomes. That question changes everything. Is Keanu Reeves really the man the world believes he is? The truth is both simpler and more powerful than many people expect. He has never claimed to be perfect. He has never called himself a saint. In fact, one reason people trust him is because he rarely tries to convince anyone of anything. He simply lives his life, while others draw their own conclusions. Throughout his career, Keanu has consistently avoided turning personal kindness into public performance. When stories about generous gestures become famous, they almost always come from people around him rather than from Keanu himself. Whether it's showing appreciation for film crews, spending time with fans, or remaining approachable despite decades of fame, these moments paint a picture that feels remarkably consistent over time. His career itself tells another important story. Not every movie became a hit. There were disappointments, criticism, and periods when some believed his biggest successes were behind him. Hollywood moves quickly, and many stars eventually fade from the spotlight. Then came an extraordinary comeback. The John Wick franchise reminded audiences why Keanu had endured for so many years. His commitment wasn't just visible on screen. He trained relentlessly, performed demanding action sequences, and approached the role with the same discipline that had defined his earliest years. It wasn't simply talent that brought him back to the top. It was persistence. Perhaps that's the most overlooked part of Keanu Reeves' story. People often focus on his kindness, but kindness alone doesn't build a career lasting more than 3 decades. Behind the calm personality is remarkable resilience. He kept moving forward through rejection, personal grief, professional uncertainty, and changing trends in Hollywood. Of course, it's also important to remember that none of us truly knows the private person behind a public figure. Fans see interviews, public appearances, and stories shared by others, but every human being has moments the world never sees. The real Keanu Reeves is likely more complex than any internet legend, and maybe that's exactly what makes him relatable. Instead of trying to appear extraordinary, he reminds people that simple qualities still matter: respect, patience, gratitude, humility. In a culture that often rewards the loudest voice, he proves that quiet character can leave the deepest impact. So, who is Keanu Reeves really? Maybe he isn't the flawless hero some people imagine. Maybe he isn't trying to be. Maybe he's simply a man who has experienced both success and sorrow, who chooses to treat people with dignity despite everything life has placed in his path. And perhaps that's more inspiring than perfection could ever be. His story isn't about becoming larger than life. It's about remaining human while the whole world is watching. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Fame After Hours. Because sometimes the greatest legacy isn't built through fame, awards, or headlines. It's built through the quiet choices people make every single day. Choices that inspire others long after the cameras have stopped rolling.